During the Second World War, they gave out diaries. They were called the War Diaries, as I remember them, but they might have had a better name, but I'm just trying to remember. I did some research on this when I was writing a children's book some years ago. And they gave out these books to people, hundreds of these things, because they were sold to the people that the government want to know that their response to Hitler bombing them was the right sort of response. So they got people, nice upstanding members of the community, to fill in the diary. You know, if you hear somebody on the bus talking a little bit of a dissenting voice, write it down in the diary. So in other words, they got volunteer snoops to spy on ordinary everyday people. And to me, this is what this AI business is technically doing. So whilst it is giving you some information, and some of it may be accurate, I don't know. I mean, my problem is that I don't know the sources. So you can ask it a sort of question, and it will come back with an answer, and you go, well, where did you get that from? We know that, I don't know, 75% of what's online is a load of rubbish anyway. So if it's scraping the internet, then 75% of, by the way, that's not an official figure, that's just me making that figure up, but we know that there's a certain amount of rubbish on the internet. I know, because I put some up there. As I've been told, you know, by various... By the way, is Reynard Wilson here? He's unlikely to be. I don't know if you've seen his channel. He just picks me apart, and Mark Steele and Chris Brooks and, you know, other truthers out there who've got an opinion. He pulls them. Oh, I don't want to promote him too much because he's making money on YouTube by saying everything I say is absolute twaddle. And some of it may be twaddle, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm an expert, I'm just asking questions. But I always like to ask, just in case he's here, because I'd love to meet him. And flatten his nose. But we know that the internet is full of all sorts of funny stuff, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot of cats, for example, and I don't know how much influence cats have on the answer that you give to AI. If it's searching everywhere, all over the place, you know. Oh yeah, really? Yeah, well, you know, Tabby says blah 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 blah. So I'm very much more than on the fence with AI. I think that the ability of a computer to work at that speed could have some advantages, especially if there's a 4-minute warning, and maybe the advice of the old days of put a paper bag over your head and crawl under the bed is not as useful. But in 4 minutes, AI might have given you the answer of how to do a counterattack, you know, if we get into World War III. Although we're in World War III, so although they call it that, that would be World War IV, wouldn't it? 'Cause